Are you currently struggling with Memory of Chaos and Honkai Star Rail and you feel like you're doing the same damage you were doing before, but now it's just not enough? Now your Acheron, who used to do 700,000 damage, just doesn't seem to be able to take out enemies, even though she's still doing 700,000 damage.
Try!
Or the most relatable Jing Liu, who at one point was doing 300 to 500k per attack, and that was a lot of damage for her at the time, but now, again, it's not enough. Well, don't worry, you're not actually doing anything wrong. At least I hope you're not doing anything wrong, but it's not your fault. It's the game's fault because they are taking the worst direction for power creep. And we got to talk about this, dude. This is dumb. Just as a small preface, we're not only talking about Memory of Chaos here, or rather the Memory of Chaos is the only thing that matters. We're talking about the enemies in the game as a whole. Memory of Chaos, Pure Fiction, Apocalyptic Shadows, Story Mode, doesn't matter, whatever it is. Point being is that Star Rail is taking this horrendous approach towards power creep. And I do want to briefly mention power creep, and I want to explain, like, okay, hi, I'm EO, and I don't think power creep exists, or I didn't believe power creep was a thing, and now I can clarify. I don't think power creep in the way that the community has been pushing the agenda for power creep is as detrimental to the game as what we're about to talk about. And in fact, I think the issue has always been what we're about to talk about, and not exactly the characters. The characters aren't getting weaker, the enemies are getting stronger, but they're not getting stronger in an appropriate manner to make up for the difference. Like, there's a huge difference in between these characters, and because these enemies are constantly, every patch, every new Memory of Chaos update, every new Pure Fiction, something is changing. And unfortunately, in the game, we can't see these numbers. We just feel the numbers, right? If you were casually playing Star Rail, you had no idea about any website or any form of information, you didn't talk to any of the Google Sheeters, nothing, and you were just playing the game, of course, you're going to feel like you are getting weaker, or your characters are not performing as strongly as some of the newer characters. And there's a number of different factors towards that. But the ultimate thing here is the enemies are changing, and they're changing for the worse. So before I jump into the actual issue with the enemies, I want to talk about the character power creep, just to knock it out of the way, because I know that's going to be one of the comments. Character power creep is definitely a thing, but I don't think character power creep is as detrimental to what we should be focusing on. It's a gacha game. Of course, the newer characters are going to come out, they're going to release, and they're going to be stronger than the previous characters. However, I don't think that the power creep in Honkai Star Rail is as detrimental character-wise compared to anything else. The reason that I don't think this is simply because most of these characters coming out, especially some of the later halves, are characters that are fulfilling roles or fulfilling team conditions that were already put in place a year ago. The easiest example that I can use, and the only example that I really need to use, is going to be the follow-up attacking team. As of right now, the time of me recording this and the time of this video going live, the follow-up attacking team is the premier team. Fei Xiao's team is #1, but it's not Fei Xiao herself that is making this team #1. It is everyone on the team enabling everyone else on the team to do exactly what they want to do. This is the perfect team in the game. If you want any definition or any example of what a team is supposed to play like, it is the Fei Xiao's follow-up attacking team. And it doesn't even have to be Fei Xiao. We saw this with Dr. Ratio. The main difference with Dr. Ratio was that Topaz required, quote unquote, E1S1 or some other form of using, for instance, silver and a light cone or whatever the case may be, in order to get out his maximum value, stacking up every single debuff all the time. At that time, though, most of the players, I won't say even most, I'll say like average player, right? The average player, the casual player, most of the time, they don't want to go out of their way to do anything that they don't have to, or rather they feel like they don't have to. And unfortunately, when it came to Dr. Ratio's team, even if you didn't have E1S1 Topaz, there were ways around doing what was required, i.e. giving the debuffs that were needed. However, that would require you to do something like farm a particular set you don't want to farm, i.e. win set, or use a different relic set that may not benefit you, use a different light cone that may not give you the direct damage you're looking for, but it does give you some moderate damage and then the debuff as well. Or speed tuning in a certain way so that some characters are significantly faster than other characters. They can apply their debuffs first, and then Ratio could take his turn. Whatever the case may be, the point is that a lot of the player base would not want to do that, and I understand why, because I'm lazy. I don't want to do shit either. But things have to get done if you want those results. You can't expect reward if you don't put in the effort to get results. That's a whole different conversation that we are not ready to have today. Going back to what Fei Xiao's team is though, it works in tandem. This is the perfect team. They work together. Fei Xiao wants characters that hit, and she doesn't even need these follow-up attacking characters. It's the fact that they do it. Fei Xiao wants characters that hit the opponent so that she can trigger her own follow-up attack. By her triggering her own follow-up attack, that triggers everyone else's passive. So Aventurine is going to drop the coins. He gets 2 free stacks from every follow-up attacking character. Topaz is going to be able to get Numby to go 2 to 3 times before she even takes her turn again. Topaz's own attacks count as follow-up attacks. Whenever Topaz activates the Bonanza state, every attack counts as a follow-up attack. Aventurine dropping the coins is a follow-up attack. His basic attack counts as a follow-up attack inside of the Bonanza state. And then of course you have Robin not only being able to advance everyone forward, but you also have Robin being able to buff the crap out of everybody's attack. This ends up turning into a situation where you would benefit from having like a fire damage orb or an imaginary damage orb or a wind damage orb. You can make different choices to just max out like all the attack damage that you would want to have depending on who you have on the team. You can max out all the damage percent that you want to have depending on who you have on the team. Topaz is giving a huge crit damage buff to the entire team. Fei Xiao is giving her own huge damage buff to just herself. Aventurine is giving a crit damage debuff to the enemy. The team works so well together that there's quite literally nothing in the game they cannot touch. If we compare that to the previous top tier team, or rather the previous top tier unit, that would be Acheron. And then Acheron's team is unfortunately one of those teams, or rather one of the conditions where the player base did not want to play to her own strengths. I don't want to use 2 Nihility characters. I want to use my buffer character, my Bronya. I want to use my Sparkle or my Robin. And then I want to be able to use maybe Pela, or I didn't pull a Swan, so I'm forced to use Gwenaifen, whatever the case may be. I don't want to pull Jiao Shou. I think Jiao Shou is lame. Why do I need Jiao Shou? Whatever nonsense exists, the point being is that it is not as smooth. They don't operate in tandem the same way that the follow-up attacking team does. And a lot of teams do that. Firefly's team work the exact same way. Boot Hill's team work the exact same way. They're all hyper carrying this one unit. They're all buffing into this one unit. So this one unit performs, and that's it. Everyone sacrifices what they have on their team or on what they have in their kit for this one unit to be able to super perform at its greatest strength. And that is, unfortunately, I guess it's not really unfortunate, but that's just hypercarry. It is what it is, right? I'm not complaining about the fact that hypercarry exists that way, but I'm explaining it to you guys so you understand that's just how the archetype works. But Fei Xiao's archetype is, hey, we are a Final Fantasy 14 party and we're rock solid. I am the tank, you're the mage. We have a white mage in the background, and then we have a ninja or a blue mage or a red mage, right? Like all these different combinations of everyone working together to perform this one thing, versus a team. Hey guys, I'm the main damage dealer. I have one sword. You're my buffer. You're my buffer. You're my buffer. You're my buffer. You kind of heal, but I don't really need you to heal. And you're also my buffer. Great. Let's get to work. Everyone support me. That's what you're dealing with right now. So from a character perspective, power creep isn't happening with these characters because like, oh yeah, this brand new character came out and they just eclipse everybody in the game. There's no reason to pull any other character except the brand new one. There's no reason to invest into the meta unless it's the brand new meta. None of that matters. It's literally prepping your account to have these teams as strong as possible. For as often as people rebuke it, Star Rail is a game that is severely benefited from vertical investment. You benefit a crap ton. It doesn't matter if it's supports or DPSs. You benefit a crap ton in this game from vertical investment. A little bit of horizontal investment, right? Build your team, get your characters, and then you vertically invest. And this keeps those teams alive for as long as possible. But I've explained the differences there when it comes to the characters. Now I can actually explain the differences here, or rather what the main issue is pertaining to the game. If we come over here and I'm able to actually show you guys, this is MOC back in what, September of this year all the way to October, so literally a month ago. This is MOC 11 and I want to show you guys the difference. This is Sferog. Sferog at this time has 8,900 or 800,000, almost 900,000 HP with a speed of 158. Cool, not a big deal, right? But this is important to understand because I'm going to show you this number here. Now, if we come over here to the latest one, actually, what is it, 12, right? Boom, the latest one, he jumps up 1.6 million HP. He keeps the speed, but his HP jumps up. And you know what else jumps up? The little hand that he summons. Before, I could one tap the hand and it was gone, right? You save your ultimate or do whatever. You one tap the hand, it's out of here, GG's. Now it takes 2. If you don't burn, for instance, a facial ultimate or an Acheron ultimate, whatever, if you don't burn something to take out the hand, that hand is going to snatch one of your characters. Now, the hand in itself is not the issue. The hand is fine. I think it's fine for Spherac to have his own boss gimmick, you know, to be able to remove an enemy from your, or an ally from your team, so that you're forced to fight on his playing field. Because as I said before, bosses' jobs, a good boss design is to prevent you from being able to hurt it. If I can stop you as the boss from doing damage or stopping me from winning, then I'm doing my job. And your job is to prevent me from winning, obviously, to stop me from doing what I want to do. That just comes down to playing the game. Now, the thing that I'm pointing out is this HP difference here. And it's not just Spherac. Every single main boss that we've come across has had some mild or large influx of HP over the course of every single patch that we've had. Every single update to Memory of Chaos, to Pure Fiction, to Apocalyptic Shadow, something is happening to these enemies that is inflating the crap out of their HP. And normally, under normal circumstances, for power creep representation, this would be acceptable. However, this game is not like Epic 7. I bring up Epic 7. Shout out to Chaos Zero Nightmare, by the way, because I think that's the same people making the same people that made Epic 7. They're making a new game now, but whatever. Point being, I bring up Epic 7 because Epic 7 is one of the few gacha games that I'm aware of. You guys can let me know in the comments down below about any other gacha games that do this. Epic 7 is the only game that I've played personally and that I'm aware of that buffs and nerfs throughout the patch. So if a new patch happens and we have Spherac, and oh man, Spherac got a million worth of HP, right? He gained almost double the HP. Okay, well, to make up for this, our set 1 characters now deal 70% more damage, but they have an extra skill cost now. It costs them a little bit extra to do this skill, or it costs them a little bit more energy to do their ultimate, but their ultimate now has a 300% damage addition multiplier attached to it. Whatever the case may be, nerfs happen. If a support is too strong, it's too centralized. Hey, we think the support is way too centralized. We're going to nerf it a little bit. She's still strong, but now we're going to make it so that the support takes them 1 extra turn to get their super giga attack to buff up the entire team. Whatever. That's the only game that I'm aware of. No Hoyo game is doing this. No Kuro game is doing this, right? Like none of the games that are mainstream gacha games that we consider mainstream gacha games are doing this type of nerf and buff or balancing out to the actual game, the characters, the enemies, whatever. And of course, we're used to this from MMOs. If you play MMOs, we're used to these things. If you play fighting games, we're used to these things. And shooters, League of Legends, MOBAs, whatever, we're used to balance changes throughout patches, throughout playing the game, because that is what keeps the game, relatively speaking, healthy or unhealthy, but only for a little bit. In Starrow's case, it's not like they're reducing HP. These are permanent changes. Spherac is going to continuously get an HP increase. And this is, in my opinion, this is the devs' way of trying to, hey, we release strong characters, we need to make the game also as strong. And in order for us to do that, we need to increase their HP. We need to increase their resistances. We need to double their defense multipliers. And we also need to make them super fucking fast. Stop. I'm gonna point something out, okay? This thing here, TV, the banana research group, this is good boss design. I said the same thing for, are they in here, this patch? Here we go, the marionette twins, the marionettes. I said the same exact thing for this boss. Not Japard, what, Aventurine. When you have good boss design, you don't have to inflate a bunch of crap. You just, Aventurine has 1 million HP, but it's, you know, obviously 2 bars, it's 2 million HP, has 2 bars, so that's fine. Swarmbug definitely did not have 1 million HP before, but now it has 2 million HP. That's ridiculous. Anyhow, and Swarmbug is a good boss too, but whatever. You have good boss designs that don't require you to force having this large HP inflation or inflation of numbers in the first place. What this team functions as, and this isn't even the marionettes. Now that I'm looking at this, I don't think the marionettes are here. This particular MOC, there we go. Past, present, and eternal. Each one of these form as their own little, you know, nihility unit. You have the sub DPS unit. You have the main attacker, the main DPS, whatever. They all have their roles, and then they have their ultimate, their big giga hit. But together, they have 1.7 million across the entire bar. And then of course, you're going to be able to knock that out twice, but they function as a team. This isn't 1.7 million, 1.7 million, 1.7 million, and then times 2, 1.7 million. No, it's shared HP amongst 3 characters. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. their speed isn't crazy, right? 119, 119, 145. The one you got to worry about is the dude doing DOT all the time, right? Then you have an issue where like you have him, the DOT guy, plus Bronya, because I think that's an Apocalyptic Shadow. She advances this motherfucker forward. He's literally Kafka. Homie is Black Swan and Kafka mixed together with no damage, right? No damage, by the way, until it's my third turn. When it's my third turn, boom, I'm activating my Kafka ability and everyone takes DOT at the exact same time. It's ridiculous, man. Anyhow, point being is that these are good boss designs and this makes a lot more sense than just inflating the numbers. We come over here to this current MOC, right? MOC 12, the Banana Research Group. This is good boss design. This is probably the second or third best boss in the game right now because of what it does. It forces you not only to learn how to fight them, but it also forces you to learn how to manipulate their own things. The TVs have always been something that we could take advantage of. If the TV is happy, it gives the team a buff, right? It gives us a buff. If the TV is mad, we take some form of damage or debuff or whatever it is, right? The same concept applies here, but now you have a TV, the dino, and the dino has the like the alarm thing, and it locks you out of being able to change any of them. So now you have to have it in a way where it's like, okay, I'm faster than Dino, so I can change the little TVs, whatever TV is more beneficial to me, so that I get the positive. He does, and then he locks it so they're all positive. Or if they're negative, I need to find a way to go faster than them to break them so that I can not take the negative effect. Or if they are going to be negative, I need to figure out a way to play around that. Even with the one over here, Banana Research Group, I don't know what he's called, but he advances the entire team forward. It ain't by 100%, but he advances them forward. And you notice he's actually the slowest one on the team, 132. Why is he the slowest one on the team? Because I'm not trying to give you a bunch of advanced forwards as often as you needed to. He doesn't get to go twice per cycle. We know the speed number for twice per cycle is 134, right? Based on the just regular speed calcs that we have. My guy can't go 2 times a cycle, but you know what can help? If one of these guys happen to give a speed boost, he could get that, you know, that extra 2 speed going twice a cycle now. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. And some of them have 2 actions, right? When they're angry, they have 2 actions per their turn or something like that, whatever it is. This guy definitely has 2 actions. And then of course they have their Giga Attack, but they all share HP. They have different toughness meters, which I think is fine, but they all share the same amount of HP. So if you were just pummeling down on one of these guys, all that pummeling you're doing is still going to this 1 HP number. If I'm doing 1,000,000 damage to one guy, this whole HP number is still being reduced by 1,000,000 damage. This type of stuff is okay. The Spherog thing is not okay because Spherog isn't getting any more difficult. He's not summoning 2 hands. He's not going twice as often. He's not getting a new move. You know who, and this is, I think this is the only one in Apocalyptic Shadow. Where's he at? Japard. I'm looking for Japard, but I don't care anymore. Japard from Apocalyptic Shadow. Coco from Apocalyptic Shadow. Apocalyptic Shadow bosses, period, are good forms of them trying to change or evolve or update the boss designs in the game and then make them more difficult through design, not through HP inflation. This is a huge issue. You are not having an issue in Star Rail because you didn't pull the latest character. I promise you that. You are having an issue because the game keeps upgrading everybody's HP and no one knows this shit as a casual player, you're not gonna know this stuff. You're just gonna feel it. You feel the effects. It's all a part of the gacha scheme. And that's why it turns into, oh man, I gotta pull the newest character, bro. At one point, my Firefly was doing 1,000,000 damage, but now she's not. Wait, Rappa's doing over 1,000,000. Rappa's doing 1.32 million. What? That's crazy, bro. How's she doing that? My Firefly can't do that. Same stuff. Fugue's gonna get here. Oh my God, Fugue makes Firefly do 2,306.4 million damage, bro. Like, that's crazy to think about the quantifiable levels that she's able to achieve with just Fugue. I have to pull Fugue now because I need Fugue. It's the game. It's the game that they're doing it on purpose, man. They're doing it on purpose. It's not okay. I don't like it. Other people don't like it. Now, as someone who spins on the game, obviously I don't suffer the same issues that you guys do, right? I had to go on stream. I had to play from a free-to-play perspective with a lot of this stuff. And thankfully, with the CE server, I'm actually able to use that server to test these things and figure out the same stuff either before you guys experience it or during the times that you guys are experiencing it. So it's not something that I'm so foreign to that I can't actually experience it and understand what's going on. But because I can go through it, with y'all. And I also see like, okay, if I spend money, how bad is it, right? And it's pretty, what I would say to wrap this up, this is good and bad. The HP inflation is bad. I talked about why that's bad, all that kind of stuff. But even though I don't like the route that they're choosing to go, I understand what they're doing. They're basically trying to prevent zero cycles from being easily accessible. We talked about this on stream just like 2 days ago, or whenever this goes live, from me recording it 2 days ago. We talked about this on stream, and I said that what they're doing is they're alternating whatever they can, numbers, damage, new characters, archetypes, whatever. They're changing it so that whenever a zero cycle happens, it's either because you have the money to do it or because you have the skill to do it. But it's no longer something that's easily accessible. Oh man, I pulled a brand new character, so now I just get the zero cycles automatically. No. In fact, the only character that's primarily zero cycling on auto right now is a well-invested Rappa with a like a Himiko or boot hill, which you have to manually do the boot hill part, but you know, a well-invested Rappa and some form of a sub DPS team, no sustain, or some form of an E1, E2 Acheron, also no sustain, and then a Fei Xiao team, standard Fei Xiao team, standard Fei Xiao, Topaz, Aventurine, Robin, all of them be at zero cycle. That's why I say she's like number one. That's another reason I say she's number one, but whatever. Anyway, point being is that that's what's going on, guys. All right, I just wanted to get that out there. Happy Thanksgiving. You guys are watching this definitely after Thanksgiving, because there's no way I'm editing this on Thanksgiving. I'm gonna go stuff my face at my mom's house. I don't know what she made, but I want macaroni. So, yo, and I want rolls. Oh man, yeah. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. If you don't, pig out anyway, right? You don't gotta celebrate, bro, but just enjoy the festivities. All right, stores are closed. It's cool. It's a little autumny outside, whatever. Unless you're Cabinets. Cabinets lives in bumfuck nowhere on a mountain, and it's always iced up over there for whatever fucking reason. And she refused. Yo, tell Cabinets to show us the ice on the mountain. Show us the snow on the mountain. That's what I want. Anyway, I can't say my usual outro because inappropriate. If you, fuck, that's the second time I've messed up my